Budget woes continue for the U.S. and the government reacts.
And a new phone app that offers safety to students. All that coming up next.
I'm Asia Gore.
And I'm Alexandria Chapin. You're watching Buckeye News Now. For the first time since 1996, the U.S. government has shut down. This comes after Republicans and Democrats could not come to an agreement on a spending plan for the fiscal year.
Just vote and end this shutdown, and you should do it today.
The financing of Obamacare, a major point of the disagreement between the two parties. Because there hasn't been a shutdown since the mid-90s, many students wouldn't have memory of it. So do students know what this means, and what are they thinking about it?
Congress should be able to basically go hand in hand with Obama with the things that he is trying to pass. So I think it's just unfortunate that we have a big movement as far as it being shut down, considering it hasn't been shut down in so long. I just hope that a good conclusion comes out of it.
I really think that this further affirms that America is still under a lot of separation. You know, right now it's not so much racial, but when it comes to government, a lot of people start to separate. And I mean, initially America wasn't founded on stuff like that, and I think that with something like healthcare, it could potentially bring people together. But I guess right now America's current state is under shambles.
I kind of think that I don't think it's going to be that bad. I think the last time that it happened in '96, it lasted for 22 days, and a lot of people didn't get paid, but it's not going to be like a big deal.
The university released its 2013 annual security report and annual fire safety report. It includes statistics for the past 3 years for both on and certain off-campus locations. Reported burglaries are down nearly 85% from 2010 to 2012. Arrests due to alcohol law violations are also down, with 2,131 offenses in 2010 and 1,917 in 2013. Drug law violations resulting in either arrests or disciplinary referrals have risen since 2010.
Some students hold pepper spray on those late-night walks back home, but what if all you needed for safety was your phone? Caroline Keyes tells us about the phone app that puts safety in the palm of your hand.
The Ohio State undergraduate student government is launching a new initiative to keep students safer, and this time it involves your smartphone. The new Ohio State Lifeline EDU phone application launched its pilot program on September 16th for some 500 students, faculty, and staff who will receive a free one-year subscription. The app serves as a campus blue light and can protect students in two ways. First, for short walks, users hold down a button on their phone and an alarm will sound if pressure is released, alerting help at an authorization center. Second, the app can operate as a timer that will call for help if it is not disarmed by a certain amount of time.
I don't have the app, but I have a lot of friends that do have the app, and I think it's a really good idea.
I feel like it's not really a problem. I've never had much of an issue with being safe, at least from what I can tell. I mean, I think anything that can make you safer or the police more accessible is a good idea.
Instead of having to access emergency blue light stations like this one on campus, students will now be able to use the new app on their smartphone to access help.
I like that, actually. I think that's a really cool idea. I think the emails help. It makes you more aware of what's going on, but I really like the idea of the app and being able to just check in.
If the pilot program goes successfully, USG is hoping to expand the program to all students on campus. For Buckeye TV, I'm Caroline Keyes.
The undergraduate student government announced that they will be supporting Columbus City Issues 50 and 51, levy proposals that plan to benefit Columbus City schools. Earlier this week, Mayor Michael Coleman came to campus to address USG and to gain support for the two levy proposals that will be on the general election ballot in November. Mayor Coleman discussed the bad state of Columbus City schools and why he hopes to change it.
In Columbus schools is broken. These kids don't have technology. They don't have access to technology. They don't teach with technology. And just to tell you how bad it is, I just learned the other day that they're using math books from a decade ago. And so your help on this is essential It's critical, it's important, and what we're doing in Columbus, this is why I got in politics in the first place, is changing the world. We're going to change the world in Columbus. We're going to make sure that Columbus has the best education you can receive in the nation. That's what 50 and 51 is all about.
USG President Taylor Stepp talked about why he thinks OSU students should care about this issue.
Well, I think that, the fact that their student government is getting involved in something like this will certainly shine the light on this levy and these two issues. And the fact that the mayor just came and spent, an hour of his time, and he made it very clear to me. He said, Taylor, I want to have a conversation, I want it to be candid, I want to interact with students, and I want to be here for an hour. That's tremendous. I mean, we are a vital part of this campaign. We are a vital part of this strategy to connect all parts of the city of Columbus, all parts, and not just, one neighborhood or two or the short north. We're trying to connect the entire community.
The university is bringing its cancer discoveries to patients in the form of a portfolio. Ohio State begins its partnership with Microlin Bio Inc., the largest licensing agreement that the university has made in more than a decade. Michael A. Caliguri, who is the CEO of James Cancer Hospital, said of the partnership, it will bring discoveries made in the laboratory to the patient's bedside and bring us closer to a world free of cancer.
A recent announcement coming from the Department of Astronomy. The Ohio State Planetarium will reopen on October 12th after closing its doors in June of 2012. The planetarium was built in 1968, just 1 year before Neil Armstrong became the first man to walk on the moon. The cheaply built planetarium wasn't kept in good physical shape, and the community lost interest in it, causing it to close. But the $620,000 in renovations will bring the facility back to life.
And basically we did an entire reboot of the whole room. So we gutted the place, brought in a new dome, a new projector, new carpeting, new seats, new sound system. Pretty much everything is new. And so the old planetarium had kind of fallen into a little bit of disrepair. So the room really badly needed updating, and now we're up to code, and we're up to state-of-the-art facility standards, I guess.
Coming up next,
some old treasures that a library here on campus has to offer students.
Plus, if you're craving barbecue, don't go away. All that's coming up next.
If you go to the Thompson Library, you're bound to find students flipping through the pages of textbooks. Alexandria Chapin stopped into the library and did some studying of her own to bring you this next story.
Of all the books in the Thompson Library, we're checking out the oldest ones. We expected to find some old books like these, but we were surprised by what we found.
We have a suite of about 10 to 12 Babylonian cuneiform tablets that are just a sample teaching collection to show people what writing was like as far back as 4,500 to 5,000 years ago.
Between 2350 and 2400 BC, these tablets were used as temple records to document day-by-day animal sacrifices. The rounded tablets were used as the earliest form of receipts to represent merchant transactions and various business arrangements.
The earliest manuscript that we have in terms of a relatively confirmed date is just a fragment. And this is from 1075, and it's a fragment that was either made in southern Italy in a place called Bari, or in that region, which is down near the heel of the Italian boot, or quite possibly was made in what is now part of Croatia.
This is part of St. Augustine's Tractates on the Gospel of John, written in the 5th century. This fragment is written in an extremely rare handwriting. This piece can be used by students and professors in paleography classes, which is the study of historic script. This is the library's oldest fully intact book, dating back to 1370, complete with original binding. And this medieval chronicle dates back to the 14th century. It's the collection's oldest book written in an early form of English. This was written by a monk who lived in England. The Thompson Library has a lot more to offer than just the books you see on the shelves. All these historical pieces are available to students. The Rare Books and Manuscripts Library inside Thompson will hold its 5th annual preview night on Wednesday, October 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m., where all these pieces and more will be on display. Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm Alexandria Chapin.
Do you know what's in a burger from Sloopy's Diner? No, not what the menu tells you. Rithika Shaw got a behind-the-scenes look at where the ingredients of your favorite burger come from.
You come, you swipe, you eat. But do you really know what goes on behind the scenes in cafeteria kitchens and OSU's very own gardens? Ohio State is focusing on sustainable dining by attempting to offer healthier options with locally grown produce. For Matthew Crucial, a cook at Kennedy Commons, it begins at the roots.
It's good to know where your food comes from, and I think if kids actually see the chefs coming out and picking the things that they're going to be eating, it brings a better connection.
Executive Chef Lisa Holford says OSU hopes to connect with students in other ways as well.
Well, we're trying to introduce a lot more fruits and vegetables and produce into our items, and still with trying to make it fun, local, healthy, and affordable. There's so many ideas in the operations right now.
These ideas come to fruition in the kitchen, where sustainability is important. Garbage and waste are definitely not on the chef's menu.
Our garden, we use quite a bit of stuff out of there, and if we end up having extra that's going bad, unfortunately it does have to go away, but we run it through our pulper, which turns it into compost, and then we can throw it right back on top of the garden.
According to Gina Casagrande, eating locally grown produce is beneficial for students because it reduces transportation time, therefore preventing a loss of vitamins and nutrients.
We try to use foods that, again, are grown locally, so that keeps the sustainable agriculture thriving. So I think it all kind of ties in together very, very well and makes for a healthy plate.
And students seem to be seeing the results.
It's not just greasy hamburgers all the time.
Students say they are noticing OSU's efforts and how the university is making eating healthy a little easier.
Oh, definitely. With all the salad bar options that you have, and they put the fruit right at the checkout to help you fill a block. So there's a lot of easy ways to make sure that you're eating healthy. It's readily available, and they're even pushing it now with different meal options. They say oh, if you get this, you can get a drink and fruit with it, versus last year it was a drink and chips.
Close to 30% of OSU's produce comes from local sources. And since the university is a land-grant institution, it has its own farm as a resource too.
We work with our animal science department to get a lot of our protein from especially the beef and the pork protein from our own farm, and of course some of the herbs and spices that we grow in our own backyard in our gardens.
While Ahmed says local sustainable food will pull more cash out of your pocket, it hasn't drastically affected meal plan prices, and student feedback has indicated that students are willing to pay for the fresher options.
When there is a story behind your food, the food tastes that much better.
Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm Rithika Shaw.
Barbecuing isn't just for summer, and apparently it's not just for the daylight hours either. Ohio State's Buckeye BBQ Club hosts its annual World's Longest Barbecue, a 24/7 grill out through October 6th. The club's 250-plus members are grilling up barbecue classics outside the Wexner Plaza. The proceeds of the event go towards the James Cancer Hospital.
We were like, okay, well, how can we make our fraternity philanthropy event stand out? And we just decided, well, how about we do one continuous barbecue? Go as long as we can. So, we figured out the world record for barbecue would be about 7 days straight. So we decided, that's a good way to make our philanthropy event memorable.
When the sun goes down on a Monday night, not all students go home to study. A group of cyclists meet on campus to take a midnight ride. Asia has the story.
People are getting forced off the streets all week, so it's kind of a chance to come back and have the solidarity, and we kind of take back the road for a little bit.
He's talking about the roads through Columbus, the same streets that have been in the news too many times for accidents involving cyclists. But a group of late night riders that meet up on campus aren't going to let that stop them from riding.
It's kind of daunting when you approach it because you think that cars are constantly going to be pushing you off the road, but when you have a collective doing it, it just makes it a lot easier to get used to pacing and to just get a good feel for where you should be on the road.
These roadrunners come in with all levels of riding experience, and for some, it becomes more than just a hobby.
A lot of people kind of got their segue into cycling through the Monday night ride. They found the Monday night ride and decided to keep riding, and then they wanted nicer bikes and they wanted to go faster, and then they started going to training rides, and now they're There's some people that come out here once a month and do 100 miles in the middle of the night.
So 100 miles isn't for everyone, but that's okay because the group's organizers say it's more about a sense of community and socializing than extreme cycling. They even celebrate each other's birthdays with cake at rest stops, and there's bound to be a birthday party for every rider because
We meet up every Monday night, 52 weeks a year, rain, snow, it doesn't matter, like somebody will be here.
For Buckeye TV, I'm Asia Gore. An initiative to help students practice healthier lifestyles, the Take a Lap Around the Oval is just one of the many activities planned for the Your Plan for Health program. This program is supported by Buckeye Wellness, the Office of Human Resources, the OSU Health Plan, and the OSU Wexner Medical Center. It's free to students, and these health and wellness incentives, which earn fitness-related items like water bottles, will continue on throughout the semester.
Essentially, it is a kickoff for our challenge, Hit the Road with the Buckeyes. And Hit the Road with the Buckeyes is a walking challenge. So that will span from September 30th to November 29th. And faculty and staff just have to walk to and from the number of miles to and from the away Big Ten football games. This event, Take a Lap Around the Oval, is just a kickoff for that challenge.
Reaffirm our commitment to health and wellness and to changing this institution in such a way that those behaviors are just part of the DNA of being at Ohio State.
When we come back, the Buckeyes are hitting the Windy City, and we're giving you pregame information.
And we'll be here with your weekly forecast. Don't go away. Welcome back. We're joined in studio by our Assistant Sports Director, Franz Ross, bringing you your weekly sports report. Franz, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks, Alex and Asia. The Buckeyes went over Wisconsin last week to mark the OSU's first victory over a top 25 opponent. This weekend, Ohio State not only plays their second straight primetime game, but also will face another top 25 opponent in Northwestern. The 16th ranked Wildcats are 4-0 on the season, with wins against Western Michigan, Cal, Syracuse, and Maine. Two of the top 25 opponents benefit the Buckeyes in the polls, but that hasn't stopped some media analysts from criticizing that Ohio State has a weak schedule.
They say we got a weak schedule or whatever, so they say that we're not ready for the big game or whatever, but I mean, we're just going to keep doing the same thing that we've been doing, and we're going to keep winning, so, I mean, they're only going to hold us down for so long.
Another night game, game day I hear is going to be there, and it'll be a heck of an atmosphere, so we look forward to this challenge.
In Braxton Miller's return last weekend, junior quarterback was awarded the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week with his efforts against the Wisconsin Badgers. According to Miller, it felt good to finally see the field after suffering a knee injury back in Week 2 against San Diego State.
I've been working really hard these last couple of weeks because I've been hurt, and my fundamental-wise, and Coach Herman, Coach Meyer, they always talk about fundamentals, and that's what I've been working on. And that's how I get my things going, and I can't get all the glory to myself. I got to give it to the team.
When I saw on Thursday what I saw, then there was no doubt who's going to be our starter, and we got to keep moving forward and keep everybody locked in on the target, and that's going to be a tough target again next week.
When the Buckeyes play at home in primetime, you're always expecting a capacity crowd. The 105,826 fans that watched OSU in Wisconsin was the third largest attended game in Ohio State history. Assistant News Director Alice Bacani was at the Horseshoe last Saturday, hanging out with Buckeye Nation.
The first Big Ten Conference game and the first night game of the season brought the third largest crowd in OSU history, and fans dressed for the occasion. This fan spent about $200 to look like the famous Sesame Street character, but others chose to spend more time rather than money.
We usually get here 4 hours before the game to paint up and everything. Then after that, we run around the stadium. And I like to change it up every game. For this game, I wear like a light up necklace. For this game, I like to change it up.
He calls himself the OSU Buckeye Man, and he makes sure that his costume represents much more than just looks, like his 7 Buckeye necklaces that represent different facts of OSU football history.
Also, 109 Buckeyes. That's how many times we played Michigan. And they weigh 7 pounds. What a coincidence. That's the exact number of Heisman Trophy winners we had. This is all for the love of the game. We try to come out and get people around you energized. That's my role as Buckeye man.
But students agree that the afternoon games can't compare with the atmosphere of night games.
Night games are 10 times better. Oh my God. Because after night games, everyone doesn't know what to do after night games and they're all just in the streets. It's just everyone congregates together and all the Buckeye fans just group into one section and just go crazy.
I'd say the night games are better, gives everyone more of a chance, lets the anticipation build up a little more. I know 12 o'clock's not early for most people, but I guess us college kids, it's a little bit early.
Reporting for Buckeye TV, I'm Alice Bacani.
The Ohio State men's hockey team will finally hit the ice this Saturday in a friendly exhibition against the University of Toronto in Value City Arena. It hasn't been the best season for the Buckeyes, considering losing their former head coach Mark Osiki and All-American goaltender Brady Jelly to graduation. Now that the offseason is over, the 2013 squad is ready for the inaugural Big Ten hockey season.
Very exciting to be a part of it. I think from an Ohio State standpoint, we couldn't be more excited. You know, when you think of Ohio State, you think of Big Ten. And now to be men's hockey, to be a part of that.
I'm excited. I've always grown up in Chicago. I've heard about Wisconsin. I've always wanted to play there, and Minnesota. So that's going to be two great atmospheres to play in. And I believe they're Olympic ice sheets, so that's going to help me a lot. So those are two places I'm really excited to play.
Let's take a week at our weather forecast and see what you can expect coming into next week. Although it's October, this weekend will be unseasonably warm, with high temperatures this weekend in the 80s without much of a chance for rain aside for some scattered storms. On Sunday, we will cool down as we start the work week with a rainy Monday. Then you can expect temperature drop into the low 70s, and we finish the week with no more than a small percentage of rain.
Thanks for joining us for another week of Buckeye News Now.
Remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Thanks for watching.